you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. It is going to be my second update in my whole collection project pan for the year 2021. This was a project that was created by Becky Loves Kanga, and I was heavily inspired to do this from my friends Emily and Sarah. I will have all of their channels linked down below, as well as a playlist to everyone else that is currently cheering alongside one another. We have a whole group chat where we all cheer one another along, and it's so much fun. So if you guys like this style of project pan, I will have all of the information in my description box down below for you guys to check out. But if you are new to this project, my entire makeup collection is itemized on an Excel spreadsheet. We randomly generate 10 different products to work on, whatever that may be, finishing up a product, working towards a usage goal, hitting pan, whatever. We work on those 10 products, and it is rolling style. So if you guys are interested in seeing my update, including I think 2 products I will be rolling out, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you love project panning content, or you just like to chit chat about makeup, I would love if you would consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's just get into this update. All right, we're gonna start with the least exciting. Both of these products I'm about to share with you guys, I did not use at all. I mentioned a couple times on my channel, but I really took February just, I don't wanna say off, but February I just did whatever felt right, and if it meant I went 5 to 7 days without wearing makeup, sorry for all the noise as always, then I went 5 to 7 days without wearing makeup. And I also had a bunch of products that I was testing, so some of my project pan items definitely got neglected throughout the month of February. February is also a shorter month. I'm gonna stop making excuses. Here, let's go. First up, we have this Patrick Ta Blush Duo. This is in the shade She's So LA, and I am working on the powder blush shade right here. My goal is to use this 25 times. Last update, I was at 6 uses. And as I mentioned, I didn't use this at all, so we are still at 6 uses. Now, this is a very, very beautiful shade. I am all about like a tan blush shade. I love like a nude toned blush. Like, this is like my dream blush shade. However, I also really didn't self tan all that often in February. I know, very weird for me. So this was a little bit deep for me for a blush shade as well. So I still have 19 more uses in order to hit my goal on this. I do plan to use this more in March, and hopefully we'll have more progress to share. I don't think we will have this as a rollout next update, but I do think we will be closer to that 25 usage mark. And then my Hourglass Luminous Light Bronzer. So I used this 3 times in January, obviously no time in February. Swatching this, it does not look like a bronzer that I would like, but I do think this is a really beautiful bronzer, and I should get use out of this, especially because this is lighter, although this is buildable as well. Like, I could top this on top of a different bronzer just to like give it a little bit more of like a luminous bronzy effect. I had given myself a goal of using this 50 times, but I think I'm gonna change my goal to 30 uses. March, we start to get a little bit more warmer weather here in Minnesota. Usually it's like a range of like 50 one day and then it's snowing the next day. But there are some spring-like days sprinkled into March. So I'm hoping to get some more use out of this in March, but I feel like by May, so 2 more updates, hopefully I'll be able to reach for this 30 times. Again, I didn't reach for this at all, so I only have 3 uses on this. This is a product that, again, if it had been rolled in at a different time throughout the year, in a different season, I would have probably gotten more use on it right away. But this is definitely not a bronzer that I typically reach for in the winter, just because it is a little bit more glowy. But hoping to have better progress to share with you guys next update on this one. All right, you guys, let's talk about my Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator next. So when I rolled this in, I really could not tell where I was at. I estimated I was about here, but this product obviously has air in it still, and I think that there's a lot of product still coating the walls. And even when I like try and let it sit for a while to like settle, I feel like I can't get a good estimate of where I am. Like, if I open this, product will squeeze right out. So I still have a lot of this left. I did give myself a goal of using about half of this. I don't know why I have 2 markings here, but my goal is just to use about half of this product. I reached for this, I think, 3 times in the month of February. This is something that's a little bit more like my summer shade. So usually I'm reaching into this to mix with a lighter foundation. I still feel like I have a ways to go with this one. Like, I don't even want to give myself a goal of when I think this will be done. I still feel like I have a ways to go, but I do really enjoy this product. I actually have this mixed with the L'Oreal Pro Glow today, and I think it's stunning. This is something I would consider purchasing in a full size when I finish it, because it is one of my favorite tinted hydrators or tinted moisturizers that I've tried, but I still have a lot of product left in this. Next up, let's talk about my Becca Prismatic Amethyst Highlighter. Unfortunately, Becca is now going to be closing down in September, which is actually really sad, because Becca, I remember, was like one of my first high-end brands that I actually got into when I was first getting into makeup. This may also have been my first highlighter. If this was not my first highlighter, then the Mirror Luminizer was my first and this was my second, but I have so many fond memories attached to this highlighter because I can remember lusting after this highlighter for the longest time. It was when holographic makeup was really trendy, and I remember the day I was finally like, you know what, I'm gonna go buy that highlighter because I want it so badly, and I was so happy to have this in my collection. Now, this is definitely not my preference for a highlight shade these days, although I do like a pink toned highlight, and this has like a pink purple shift, and it's not super intense where it's gonna look like a bruise on your face really. And I've actually been mixing this with my with my Vesca Moonlight highlighter, and the two of them, I actually have them on my cheeks today. The two mixed together, I think really kind of, if I layer them correctly, takes away some of that pinky purple shift and really just like evens it out, and I really like the effect. So I gave myself the goal of using this 25 times. This is something that, like, I don't think I'll ever finish the full pan of this, but if I were, I would still keep this because Becca's gonna be gone now. And I just, the packaging I love, and again, this is like, it has sentimental value to me. But I gave myself a goal of using this 25 times. I had used it 2 times in January, and I used it an additional 3 times this past month. I just recently started layering this with the Vesca, and I've really been enjoying that. So I think I will get some more use out of this in the month of March, but I've used it 5 of the 25 times. I still think I have a couple months before I hit goal on this, obviously, but I do really like layering this with a more neutral champagne highlight. I think the two pair really beautifully together, so I anticipate I will get some more use out of this. Next up, we have this lip gloss that I totally forgot about. I have it on my lips today, and I think this is the only time I've used this since the last update. This is my Buxom Mini in the shade Sandy. So I have not too much of this left. I'm about right here, so I have maybe a third of the product left. And this is something, if I were to put my mind to it, I could finish this up by the next update. I have used up mini Buxom lip glosses before, and they do go pretty quickly if you put if you're consistently using it. So I am going to try and use this up by the next update. I have been using up quite a few lip products. I am currently on a lip product no buy, which is helpful because I'm not bringing products into my collection to be testing out. So I really hope that I can just like set this out on my vanity, remember to use this, and have this finished by the next update. It's a beautiful color. It really goes with everything. It's not my favorite lip gloss formula, but I have quite a few of these Buxom Minis still in my collection, so it would be nice to start to work my way through some of these. So hoping by the next update to have this complete. This next product is another product that I have pretty good progress on. When I say another product I have pretty good progress on, I don't know why I said that, because I have not good progress on anything I've shared with you thus far. So this is my RMS Beauty Powder, and I put it in my Laura Mercier container. So I filled this pretty full with the RMS Beauty Powder before rolling it in. I'm getting powder literally everywhere. I don't know why I opened that, but that is where we are currently at with the amount of powder I have left. So I still think that this will take me probably at least 2 months to finish up the powder that's inside, and I still have like half of my RMS Beauty Powder left. That thing will last you a while if you want something that's super cost effective. I really like the powder. I use it just about every day. But I still feel like it's going to take me a little bit to get through this, but I know I made good progress on this. I'll be really curious to see the change in weight. I haven't weighed things yet. I am like trying to film and then get out the door, so I'll just have to post the weights over on the side, but I anticipate there'll be some good weight change on this one. Okay, another product I don't have great progress to share. I have my Kosas Duo in the shade Papaya, and I am working on the highlighter side of this. So I gave myself the goal of using this 25 times as well. I've used this 5 times as of the last update, and I only reached for this 1 time in the month of February. This is a really, really beautiful shade. I use this more as a blush topper than a highlight. And I, again, mixed this with my Vesca Beauty highlighter though the other day, and it was stunning. This is another one, again, I feel like would have been better suited more towards like the spring, summer, just in terms of shade match. And like if I'm using this as a blush topper, obviously I'm gonna have a very glowy cheek, which isn't always what I'm going for in the winter time. I don't know. I hope I've been taking pictures. I don't know if you'll be able to see. There is like a slight dip where you can tell I've been placing my brush. I hope that you can see that on camera. So there's a slight dip. Again, I'm not really anticipating to hit pan by the 25 uses, but I've used this 6 times. I'm hoping I can reach for it maybe 5 times minimum throughout the month of March, so we can continue to make progress towards this. But again, I think this one will be in the project for a few more months. Next up, we have a single eyeshadow. This is from JD Glow Cosmetics, and this is in the shade Iced Out. And I reached for this 3 times. This was rolled in last update, but you can tell there's a dip going there in the center. This is a really, really beautiful all over lid setting shade, but I've also used this on the inner corner as well. It's such a stunning shade, you guys. The JD Glow Metallics, I swear are like on another level. Like that just looks so wet and so stinking beautiful. So I did give myself the goal of hitting pan on this, and I'm going to continue to try and reach that goal of hitting pan. I'm not going to switch over to a usage goal or anything. I just think this is such a wearable shade. I would love to be able to hit pan on this, especially because I feel like my panning journey hasn't been as successful this year so far in terms of eyeshadows as it has been in years past. So I'm going to keep chugging away at this. I still feel like this one could be in here for a couple months as well, but this one I should be able to hit pan on. So then that just brings us to the 2 products I will be rolling out. Up first, I have this Sun Matte Bronzing Powder Palette from Essence. And I was working on the 3rd shade, which is this shade right here. This is obviously a little bit deep for me, but I was mixing this shade with this shade to create a bronzer. And then I also just use this as like a transition shade some days in terms of like using it on my eyes. My goal, I believe, was to reach for this 15 times. I can't remember if it was 10 or 15. And I threw away my sheet after I knew I was updating my sheets and I knew I had hit my goal on this one. So I can't remember if it was 10 or 15 times, but whatever the number, I used it 10 to 15 times, and I'm happy to roll this out. This isn't my favorite palette. I don't love face palettes, and to be honest with you, I really enjoy this bronzer shade, but like this one's too warm. This one really has not worked for me unless I mix it with this, obviously, because I'm a little bit lighter. So it's just not my favorite palette, and I'm also trying to pan other bronzers, so I'm excited to roll this out. And then the other product we're rolling out is my Pat McGrath Sublime palette. So I do have all of my palettes listed in my Excel spreadsheet, and if I roll a palette in, my goal is just to use that palette 10 times in any capacity. I'm not necessarily working on any specific shades. I'm just reaching into the palette 10 times. And ironically, this shade right here was rolled into my Pan Those Eyeshadows project shortly after this was rolled into this project. So I did end up reaching for this palette a total of 10 times, and I will continue to reach for this palette because it's in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. But because I did reach for it 10 times, we will be rolling it out and replacing it with a different product. So that being said, let me grab my phone and let's see what 2 new products we're going to be rolling in. Okay, I'm sure my spreadsheet is not totally up to date because I haven't updated it in, I don't know, probably 2 months since I started this project. So if we have to re-roll for something, we will. My rules in here is I only want to work on 1 palette at a time, and I only want to be working on 2 products from the same category at a time. But I don't think there's anything, unless we rolled in like 2 more bronzers, there would be nothing really that would be overlapping. So yeah. Okay, so we are going to randomly generate 2 numbers between 1 and 641. And we get number 350 as well as 436. So let's see, number 350 is going to be, Lime Crime Red Rose. That's a liquid lipstick I think I was considering decluttering. Yep, it most definitely was. It is this liquid lipstick right here. I wish I had gotten the coral shade that I own in this. So that is that liquid lipstick. I mean, it does look pretty, so I'm probably gonna give myself a usage goal of, I'm just gonna give myself a usage goal of 5 uses, because I remember last year in my whole collection project pan, I had a red liquid lipstick and I tried to give myself a goal of using it 10 times and that just couldn't happen for me either. So I'm gonna give myself a goal of reaching for this 5 times, and I will be, oh great, my earring fell out. I'm just gonna take my earrings out rather than put that back in. I'm gonna just give myself a goal of using this 5 times. And if that happens, I'll be feeling super accomplished with myself. And hopefully using it 5 times, I'll be able to decide whether this is something I wanna keep in my collection, because again, this is in my cup of things, my cup of lip products, to decide whether or not I want to keep. So hopefully in 5 uses, I'll be able to decide whether or not I wanna keep that. And then we had number 436, which is my ABH Subculture palette, which I'm not going to work on. I'm gonna re-roll for that because that is in my palettes on their last hurrah, and I'm already organically reaching for that. So we're just gonna re-roll. And we get number 582, which I feel like is gonna be a newer product. 582 is my Lorac Holiday Blush palette, and it is the shade, the 4th shade in that. So I will be right back with that palette. Okay, so this is the palette. I haven't looked inside to see the shade. I'm actually really excited this got rolled in because this is a product that I love, but I am horrible at reaching for face palettes, so it'll give me some inspiration to reach for this. I don't think that the shade is one of the highlighter shades. I'm hoping it's a blush shade, but I also hope it's not. I hope it's a very spring colored shade. So there's 6 shades in here. I'm gonna go just like I normally would read. Yes, it's the shade I was hoping. I was hoping for either this shade or this shade. So I got the shade Technicolor, which is this one right here, which I feel like is going to be the perfect, oh, this never happens to me. Yes, this is gonna be like the absolute perfect spring blush shade. How beautiful is that? Okay. I'm gonna give myself a goal of reaching for this 25 times. I was gonna say 20, but I feel like this is such a beautiful shade and I never reach for this palette, so I should really take the opportunity while it's been rolled in to get some use out of it. I'm gonna give myself a usage goal of 25 uses. There is a mid-year refresh, so if by the end of, I can't remember if it's the end of June or beginning of June, regardless, sometime in June, if I'm not reaching my goal, I can roll any products out that I so choose. So 25 uses on this blush. I actually feel like I should be able to achieve that within maybe like 2 months if I consistently reach for this. And how pretty is that? I'm super excited about this one. A little bit nervous for the liquid lip, but I'm feeling refreshed and remotivated to work on my goals towards the products within this project. I hope that you guys enjoyed this update. If you're working on this project or any projects, I would love to know how is it going? What products have you recently finished? Maybe what products are you guys struggling with? I would love to hear what products are giving you the toughest times in terms of hitting pan on them, using them up, whatever it may be. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!